Well, hey everyone, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by La Marzocco, who's been creating espresso machines by hand in Florence since 1927. La Marzocco is dedicated to serving their retail customers all over the globe through their unmatched innovation, quality, and consistency. The dependability of a La Marzocco is unquestionably what has made them a household name in specialty coffee. That's why you're going to find La Marzoccos at some of the best coffee bars around the world. Now, one example of this great innovation is a machine like the KB90 espresso machine. The straight-in locking portafilters help with ergonomics. You've got scales in the drip tray for accuracy of your extractions. Then you also have the auto flush feature in the group heads, which keeps things clean effortlessly and helps with efficiency and workflow. It's just one example of many types of espresso machines that La Marzocco has that fits your need exactly. To get more information and have one of their salespeople help you make the right decision for your coffee bar, go ahead and reach out to them over at info@lamarzocco.com, and absolutely be sure to check out their website, lamarzocco.usa.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Espressly. Espressly is creating custom branded mobile apps for the independent coffee shop industry. They are huge advocates of entrepreneurs like yourself in getting your customers something very convenient, but also very much you. You're not just a dot on a map with Espressly. This custom app really extends your brand, increases loyalty, and it's a no-risk model when you're working with Espressly. There's no setup or development fees. You get a drive-through payment scanner, receipt and label printing capabilities. All of the data is stored in the app, and it integrates with some of the world's best payment processing systems, and of course that includes Square. So I would encourage you, reach out to Espressly and have them get started on your app today. To do that, just go over to their website, espressly.co. That's espressly.co. Okay, everybody. Well, today I wanted to talk to you about how baristas are not magic. So let me unpack this a little bit. One of the things that I think is a downfall for operators in coffee shops, managers, owners alike, anyone who has the responsibility of seeing that the operations run smoothly or they're really concerned with the success of a business, what they like to think is that if they can just get the right things in place, then success is guaranteed. And of course, we know success is never really quote unquote guaranteed, but especially around people, we think if we can get the right people, just the perfect person, the perfect barista, then everything is going to work out. They will intuitively know what to do, how to handle situations. And we know we think this because we get frustrated when people let us down. We don't get our expectations met when the imperfect people that inevitably populate our bars, and we should include ourselves in that mix, show their imperfections. And what we say is, okay, well, this is a hiring issue. I need to hire better people constantly. Better. So we're trying to find this perfect barista because if we can just get them, then poof, like magic, all the problems will go away. And that's just not the way that this works. There is a certain level of imperfection that is not just mere imperfection of humanity. It's actually maybe somebody is the wrong fit for your business. They don't line up with the values of your business. And hopefully you've detailed what those are. And those values need to be a match with the people that you bring in. Now, when you're matching somebody with values, that doesn't mean that you're going to have a friction-free environment or relationship with your staff. It means that in the midst of those points of clarity that are going to be necessary for those hard conversations that are going to come, there is a common value that will get you through the hardship and the tension that's inherent in every business that you can think of. The best businesses that you could possibly think of have these conversations. They have disappointments. They have people who need to have warnings given to them. There's all of that within the most perfect example of a business you can imagine. And the reason why these businesses can be successful is not because they have perfect baristas, not because their baristas are somehow magic. It's because that value that they share from the outset allows them to shoot for the same thing. and more readily causes them to submit their own will, and that includes you as an operator, to the greater good of that particular value that they voluntarily had said, yes, this is something I want to do. So this might be hard, but I will do it. But I will kind of, take this on, even though it's not my preferred thing. I know it's for the greater good. And so you don't get rid of the tension by having the perfect hire. The best hire that you could possibly make will still have lots of different points at which you will need to, coach, and you'll need to correct and mold and all that stuff. That's just part of running a business, right? So when I'm talking about baristas are not magic, really what I'm talking about is accepting the idea that the outcome of your coffee shop, the experience that your customers have, the vibe, the feel, the quality of the product, the reputation, etc. Whatever you judge success by, that is something that is nurtured over time, and it's not a formula. It's not. And I've said this before in other episodes where today it's like you can have a coffee shop in a box. You can buy all of the equipment and you can set it up to look like what to the average person would be, wow, this looks like a really good coffee shop. You can kind of hear them say it in their mind right now. Wow, that looks like a really good coffee shop. We should go there. But when you start interacting with it, you realize, something is amiss. The soul doesn't seem to be here. It's a lot like visiting the Eiffel Tower in Las Vegas. Like, yeah, it looks a lot like the Eiffel Tower. Not exactly the Eiffel Tower, though. And so you couldn't really say that you've been there, but the formula for, how it looks, and it's a close approximation. Okay. The trying to skip out on the hard work of developing and curating over time the trust, the co-creation, the culture. It takes time to develop that depth that you long to have. Trying to skip that through formulas or thinking that you can import it because somebody has a lot of experience. Oh, they're a champion barista. Well, that means that they're going to make my coffee shop successful. Well, I can tell you that is absolutely not true. And any championship barista or well-known barista who thought they were being hired as some kind of attraction, like you're going to save our business because you're popular, right? No. And anybody who's worth their salt as a professional would be insulted by the idea of that. And so rather than having some kind of in the back of our minds, like this belief in a magic formula or like the perfect person and just the right alignment of things, right, will just equal an easy result. We need to establish in-depth values that guide who we are and how we do our work and what we do. And then gather to us people who believe in those things, who are willing to, along with you, work to cultivate the result over time and through the ups and downs, the successes and the failures in all sorts of different ways. It will not feel like magic. It'll feel like, it'll feel stressful. Stress is not always a sign that something is irreparably damaged or harmed. Stress is often just something that makes you stronger if it's handled the right way. In the same way that your skeletal structure, it benefits, it gets stronger by being under load. And if you don't have that pressure on your bones become brittle and they easily break. And so we want to absorb those stressors in the direction of our values, but it's not magic. It's just work over time in the right direction with imperfect people that believe in a similar goal and a similar value. Okay. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Don't try to import success to your business, whether it's believing in, magic championship baristas, or whether it's believing in somebody is going to give you their recipes from their coffee shop and you're going to apply them and your customers are going to love it. Or this espresso machine, or we have a famous chef that works our kitchen. That might be an asset in some way, but you have to hang your hat on the big picture that's made up of all of the small decisions and the work and the minutia, the day in and day out, not this wave of a wand that will create success. That's how we start to become detached. That's how cultures become toxic or just hollowed out. So you don't feel it anymore and you start to lose customers and you start to lose your love for what you do because the love has long since departed. So I hope that this is helpful and got you thinking in some way about how you approach the daily work. I find a lot of beauty in the idea that we can work together as imperfect people under a shared stress in the right direction to create something beautiful. To me, that's what the coffee industry is. That's what, brings about the fruition of both coffee cherries as well as coffee shops. It's just, it's all connected. So, anyway, thanks very much, everybody, for listening. As always, please subscribe to the show, share these episodes with your friends, share them with your team, share them with your mom and dad. And as always, I hope that this episode has truly given you keys to the shop.